Welcome to Insiders, B2B intelligence for those serious about surf parks. Hi everyone, and welcome to Insiders. Today I wanted to share a presentation I gave in Dubai earlier this year to the Middle East and North Africa Leisure and Attractions Council as part of the work that Surf Park Central does as an evangelist for the surf park industry, getting in front of different groups and telling the story of surf parks and why they make for a good investment and why surf culture is a good investment for those involved in the attractions sector. So here's how the presentation to this particular group of people went. Why surf parks? Our friends at Surfline put out a quote recently. An explosion of innovative technologies, new constructions and worldwide interest has detonated in the artificial surfing space. Now, this is true. I would take a little bit of issue with the word artificial. The waves are not artificial. These are real waves breaking in real water. The surfing being done on them, there's nothing artificial about that either. These waves are just being generated mechanically using the power of the sun indirectly, rather than in the ocean where they are generated organically, also using the power of the sun. So the surfing is not artificial. Certainly the environments in which these waves are being created are. The point remains, this is a space that is exploding. A tipping point happened in 21st century surfing in 2015 when on December 18th, the Kelly Slater Wave Company dropped a video of its test facility in the Central Valley of California in Lemoore that set the internet on fire. To use the cliche, it broke the surfing internet. It was watched 250,000 times in the first hour, and in 4 days, 4 million people had viewed it on Facebook alone, and it was posted across multiple platforms. And almost immediately, it inverted the relationship that people had between what a surf park wave was and what waves in the natural environment were. Previous to this video, people would compare the surf in surf parks favorably with a pretty fun day at a good surf break. Nothing too special, but pretty fun. Immediately upon seeing this video, that paradigm flipped on its head, and people started comparing unfathomably perfect waves in nature to the perfection that they'd seen in this video of the Kelly Slater Wave Company's pool in the Central Valley of California. Today, we have about 35 million people surfing around the world. The global surf market is worth about $50 billion. The global surf travel market is worth that and then some again. There's a 30% projected surf industry growth rate. And the surf park industry is thought to be growing by an estimated 10x over the next 10 years. So today, we have World Championship Tour contests at the Kelly Slater Wave Company facility in the Central Valley, now known as the WSL Surf Ranch. Surfing is in the Olympics. There are scores of surf parks in development right now. There are 8+ different wave generation technologies and a dedicated surf park industry conference, the Surf Park Summit, which this year is in its 10th year of production. There's around 150 new surf park projects under construction. By 2030, surf parks will represent $2 billion in infrastructure and investments around the world. The surf park industry is estimated to outpace spending in the traditional surfing market by 2040. This is coming on very, very quickly and in a very serious and significant way. I want to show a quick video that highlights some of the technologies that are available out in the world today. This is the WSL Surf Ranch in the Central Valley. This is Wavegarden Cove. Test facility in Basque Country. This is in South Korea. Surf lakes in tropical North Queensland in Australia. Unit surf pools. I think the takeaway here is that the quality of waves in surf parks today is undeniably outstanding. So how do we get here? How do we get to the point where Bethany Hamilton is deeply barreled in Waco, Texas, and the other image on this screen is me being slightly less deeply barreled at the WSL Surf Ranch in the Central Valley? Well, the first human-made waves were made in the Venus Grotto at Linderhof Castle, built by the Mad King Ludwig II of Bavaria in 1877. He built a lot of wacky stuff. This grotto included electric lighting in multiple colours, pretty groundbreaking for 1877, central heating, and a wave machine that created ripples across this small artificial lake by directly applying electricity to the water. Now, this is not a technique that we continue to use today. First commercial surf pools came around the turn of the 20th century when in 1903 a hydraulic flap system was patented to send straight waves which would break into white water across swimming pools, and this was promoted as an enhanced swimming experience, a healthier experience. And pools of this kind are still in use today in water parks around the world. I took my children to one recently. They love jumping over the waves. It's definitely an enhanced swimming experience. So in 1912, the International Hygiene Exposition in Dresden saw this technology promoted as a health and wellness experience. And they quickly proliferated around the world. Around 500 of these were built in the 20th century. But the first surfing to take place in a wave pool took place in 1966. The Summerland Wave Pool in Japan dedicated an hour each day to what they called the Surfatorium, where people were invited to come and surf this wave pool. You can see in the image there is barely a wave to ride there. But this was the first example of people riding waves. You can see there's an enthusiastic crowd watching this go down in Japan in 1966. 3 years later, a dedicated surf park called Big Surf opened in Tempe, Arizona. The picture on the right is Fred Hemmings, 1968 world champion and the founder of the World Professional Surfing Tour, who was invited to Arizona to test the wave and provide feedback. And Fred speaks fondly of this period where he spent 3 months in Arizona with his own effectively private surf pool to ride by himself. He thought that was pretty cool. In 1985, there was an attempt to start the first World Championship Tour surfing contest at surf parks. And this took place in 1985 at the Dorney Park Wildwater Kingdom in Pennsylvania, which was the World Professional Inland Surfing Championships brought to the world by Ian Cairns, who was running the professional tour at the time. Now, the waves were not particularly wonderful, and as a result, the concept of having professional surfing contests in surf parks kind of withered on the vine at this point. The idea was there, but the technology was not really up to the task at this point in history. Improvements in quality took place in 1989 when Typhoon Lagoon at Disney World Orlando opened. Now, this was a new standard of quality, using a water drop system rather than mechanical flaps. Produces a soft but demonstrably and observably perfect wave. So this was a real leap forward in terms of quality. And the Surf Park Summit in 2016, which happened in Orlando, Florida, rented out Typhoon Lagoon for an early session before the conference and a party afterwards. And I think everybody at that Surf Park Summit really enjoyed the wave and the atmosphere created around the pool. Around the same time, an offshoot in surfing's evolutionary tree took place. Tom Lochtefeld, native of San Diego, invented the Flowrider. The first one was installed in Texas and opened in 1991. Most of us are familiar with the look of a Flowrider. We've seen them on advertisements for cruise ships, for resorts, in certain themed restaurants. Now, it's fun, but Tom Lochtefeld is the first to admit that this is not an authentic surfing experience because you can't ride a real surfboard. You ride something somewhere in between a skimboard and a skateboard deck. But by 2015, 200 of these sheetwave attractions had been installed in 35 countries. In 1993, Ocean Dome opened in Miyazaki, Japan, an artificial beach with a retractable roof, with clouds and sunny sky on the inside of that retractable roof, so that it always looked like a perfect surfing environment. People are quick to point out that it's right across the road from an actual beach and an actual surf, but this was a year-round facility, and it provided the best quality waves in a surf park for the next 20 years. Now, unfortunately, Ocean Dome closed in 2007, but this is a real quantum leap forward in terms of wave quality. And there are plenty of videos of pro surfers riding this back in the late 90s and getting fully barreled and doing incredible airs. So this was a real high-performance wave ahead of its time in many ways. Another branch in the evolutionary tree when it comes to surfing installations are deep water standing waves. And these were directly inspired by the ice spark, the ice river, in Munich, which was first surfed in 1972. This is based on the hydraulic jump phenomenon that was first described by Leonardo da Vinci in the 15th century. Directly inspired by the surf scene that developed around this standing wave in the middle of Munich, and in the image here you can see there's a whole bunch of surfers hanging out here while there's snow on the ground, having a great time surfing this standing wave in the middle of their city. So City Wave is a technology developed by German developers who rode the ice spark and were inspired to try to replicate that. There's 15 installations worldwide. The lineup at Waikai in Hawaii, Oahu, is 100 feet wide and just recently opened to the public. Surfstream is a product of American Wave Machines, more famous for its perfect swell technology. That is a small footprint wave that can barrel and that has been put in quite innovative spaces, including inside a restaurant, inside a mall in Canada. Unit Surf Pool is a newer entrant into the market and is very exciting in that it can be dropped directly into an existing body of water. And provided the water is deep enough, it will provide a standing wave using only the power it needs to propel the water and create the hydraulic jump phenomenon. So this won the 2022 Sustainability Award at the Surf Park Summit based on its ability to operate without tapping into any municipal water whatsoever. Water being a great concern in many of the destinations where surf parks are being built at the moment. So congratulations to Tony and Jess from Unit Surf Pools for taking out the Sustainability Award. ADG came out with Epic Surf, a proof of concept machine, and went out of their way to be very inclusive with the types of people they invited to use this pool, and discovered that it was really powerful as a mode for getting different types of populations with different types of abilities into surfing. People who thought they would never have access to surfing were able to do so safely and had very transformational experiences. And as a result of this, ADG's Epic Surf won the 2022 Democratizing Access to Surfing Award at Surf Park Summit based on their work with wounded combat veterans, with people with varying degrees of ability, and some really great stories coming out of the testing of the Epic Surf machine. In 2012, the Wadi Adventure pool came online in Oman. Now, this is not a great wave. It breaks for a short period of time. It was used by a number of the pros to advance their skills. For example, Sally Fitzgibbons spent some time in the pool with her coach, standing in waist-deep water, giving immediate feedback, and it was at this pool that Sally Fitzgibbons learned to do an air reverse and subsequently transferred those skills into professional surfing in the ocean. In 2013, Wavegarden, based in the Basque Country of Spain, released a video showing its Wavegarden Lagoon prototype. A waist-high wave that peeled perfectly for the entire length of the pool, based on drawing a foil through the water on either side of a central pier. The first commercial installation of the Wavegarden Lagoon happened in 2015 in the north of Wales at a facility initially called Surf Snowdonia, now called Adventure Park Snowdonia, as more and more adventure elements were added to the surf park to add to its attraction to the area. And the surf park really transformed this part of North Wales into an adventure tourism destination. It's been very successful from a destination perspective. Of course, the same year, a little later on, Kelly Slater Wave Company's surf ranch in Lemoore, California, dropped its video. It was not a publicly available facility at that point, but for those in the know, were able to sample that. American Wave Machines launched its Perfect Swell technology in Waco, Texas, not long afterwards. Subsequently, they have opened in Shinzunami, Japan, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and this year we're expecting a Perfect Swell to open in New Smyrna in Florida. In 2016, Wavegarden completely changed its preferred technology from the Lagoon, which had drawbacks in terms of the throughput of guests and ultimately the quality of the wave, which was reasonable, but not fantastic. And there needed to be a period of a minute or two between waves to allow the pool to settle. And this really hampered the number of people that you could put through a Wavegarden Lagoon. It also had a pretty large physical footprint. The Wavegarden Cove is now what's being rolled out by Wavegarden around the world. It's probably the leading technology in terms of projects in the pipeline. This is the test facility in the Basque Country. Wavegarden Coves are open in Melbourne, Australia, in Bristol, UK, in Switzerland, in South Korea, in Brazil, and there are an enormous number of Wavegarden Coves under construction, in pre-development, in development. The next to open is probably Edinburgh in Scotland, and there are several more that we're going to see coming online in the next 12 to 24 months. This is the Surf Lakes installation in Yeppoon in Australia, right near the Tropic of Capricorn. Pretty interesting technology based on a central wave-making device which pumps out waves in 360 degrees and is broken on bathymetry, forming A-frame peaks, providing 8 to 10 surfers with waves for each pulse of energy and each raising and dropping of that central wave-making device. A truly unique technology in the surf park world. And the next surf lakes are likely to be in Austin, Texas, where shovels are in the ground, and there are plans for another in Las Vegas. SurfLock is Tom Lochtefeld's moving wave, dynamic wave technology. This is a test facility in the Palm Springs Surf Club, which has subsequently been ripped out and expanded and built much bigger, and we're expecting that the Palm Springs Surf Club facility will open in the next couple of months in 2023. So this is a really exciting time to see a whole new technology, SurfLock, at full capacity. The test pool looked amazing. Some incredible footage was gathered from that, but it was a short, sharp wave. It's going to be wonderful to see the SurfLock technology at full scale, and we're going to see it really soon. And what a beautiful setting. Endless Surf is a product of Whitewater, which bought the rights to the Flow Rider years ago and has a multiple decade history of producing top-level water parks. So a company with a lot of history of developing solid projects. So Endless Surf is a heart-shaped pool, so there are two sides to it, using pneumatic caissons fired in different sequences to provide a whole range of different types of waves. They have many projects in the pipeline. The first to market will probably be Munich in Germany. This is a rendering of Parkwood on the Gold Coast of Australia. A really exciting project that is underway. It may take a little longer to bring to market because it is a fairly huge development with a lot of residential, retail, etc. around it, but a super exciting project. And Revel Surf is in Mesa, Arizona, and a brand new, different technology, electromechanical, which is obviously very capable of producing very high quality waves as well. This will be part of the larger Cannon Beach development in Mesa, Arizona, which also boasts a unit surf pool, which is now in the ground, and will be part of that development as well. A surf park's just another asset class. As surf parks multiply, the industry is now generating its own demand as successful surf parks and innovative business models establish a financial track record. And surf parks are finally starting to attract institutional capital. So are these just another asset class? On the one hand, yes, because there is the financial track record now, where you can make a decision between, should I build a hotel, should I build a water park, should I build a surf park, and you'll be able to make a decision based upon track record of these different asset classes. But surfing has something else going for it that I think makes it special. It's an indigenous sport that has a 1,000-year plus history all around the world, from West Africa to pre-Incan Chan societies in Peru, to Melanesia, to Polynesia, all through the Pacific. People have been surfing for well over 1,000 years. And surfing obviously reached its cultural zenith in Hawaii, where it was a central part of life for men, women, and children, and the spiritual life of Hawaii as well. So it has this incredible history that most of these other asset classes in the recreation and attraction space simply don't bring with it. This is a real value add if you can allow visitors to these attractions to tap into this history and this culture. Surfing's fun. It's exhilarating for all ages and skill levels. People surf into their 90s. Surfing's a highly aspirational sport. I've been known to say that there's two types of people in the world, the ones that surf and the ones that would like to. And the surfing has a skills progression. It allows easy access to flow and peak experiences. And the physical, psychological, and social benefits that come from that make surfing an addictive activity in the most positive of ways. Surfing has direct links to some of the most beautiful environments on Earth, and again, if it is possible to help people in surf parks feel part of something larger than themselves, a sport which takes place in environments like that pictured here, just breathtaking, that's value add for people. They're tapping into something that is bigger than a water park attraction or just another asset class. Surfing has a professional sporting league with a massive global audience. It's 5 million in the US alone. Surfing has cultural heroes with pretty major social media followings. Alana Blanchard has 1.7 million Instagram followers. Gabriel Medina has 11 million. So it's possible to leverage the impact of these influencers within the sport that you're providing a playing field for to help to promote this industry, to draw in customers and raise awareness of what's going on. Surfing is now an Olympic sport, so it's being promoted in every country in the world are going to be able to see surfing. The Olympics in Japan was a little underwhelming in terms of conditions, but the Olympics coming up in France, where the surfing competition is to be held in Tahiti at one of the world's most awe-inspiring waves, known as Chopu, or the end of the road, if that wave reaches its full potential during the waiting period of the Olympics, this is going to turn the world on its head. They've never seen anything like the waves that break there and the way that the surfers who will be in the Olympics are able to ride it. Surfing has more than 35 million participants in 106 countries. But what trends can we see in the market from the demand side? Recently at Surf Park Central, we released the 2023 Surf Park Consumer Trends Report. The following data are snapshots of data from the 100-page Surf Park Consumer Trends Report, which drew from 3 original surveys from 2015, 2016 and 2022 run by Surf Park Central, as well as for the first time having access to some of Surfline's data and surveys with response rates of up to 90,000 people. So we're getting pretty accurate, particularly with some of the demographic data that was presented. So outdoor recreation participation trends in the US are basically going through the roof. Between 2019 and 2022, the largest growth in outdoor recreation ever recorded took place at 26%. The diversity of outdoor recreationalists has also increased, and in 2022, $862 billion in gross output came from the outdoor recreation sector. This is the highest ever recorded. In terms of participation through the pandemic, we saw trends across some of the major surfing countries that were pretty uniform. In the United States, a 27% increase in surfing, taking the total numbers to around 3.75 million surfers. In Australia, went up by 43%, and the participation of women in surfing went up by 78%, making surfing the most popular new sport for women in Australia. In the UK, numbers grew by 66%. More young people took up surfing during the pandemic. In fact, the number of youth surfing in the United Kingdom increased by 225% over the period of the pandemic. More than 80% of all these surfers surf every month, and 35 to 45% of all the surfers have been surfing 3 years or less. So what this represents is a massive boom of beginner surfers across all the surfing markets that we analysed, which was the United States, Australia, and the UK. These are the ones that we had really good data on. So in terms of surf park consumer trends, we found that 99% of surfers want to use a surf park. This was up from 78% in 2015. Wave quality, convenience, the ability to advance your skills quickly are the most popular attributes of a surf park. 51% of the people surveyed were willing to travel more than 2 hours to reach a surf park, and this is a 70% increase from 2015. Surfers are likely to visit a surf park that is within 2 hours travel of them that they find to be good value 2 to 3 times per month. That's a pretty solid repeat visitation waiting to happen, built into markets where there are already surfers. Surfers will visit a surf park with 2.9 friends, 2.4 of whom would surf. The average actual spend per visitor in our 2022 sample group was $290 to $380 per visitor. Most visitors would rent surfboards and wetsuits, and vacations to surf parks are likely to be in the realm of 3 days, and there's a preference among the group who would like this kind of vacation for on-site, high-end accommodation. Consumers are also really concerned about sustainability, particularly water use. Consumers want a surf park to show that it's implementing sustainability measures. Now, luckily, we have a sustainability certification for the surf park industry in Stoke Certified. Many surf parks have already jumped onto this sustainability standard. Many developers and suppliers are joining Stoke to promote what their technologies and what their products and services can do to improve the sustainability of surf parks, because they need a very strong sustainability narrative. Ideally, surf parks should be water neutral and carbon neutral, and there should be an authentic and compelling story around that that's going to make it easier to get local community and local politicians on board and to support projects. 91% of the people surveyed said they were willing to pay 13.75% more for a sustainable surf park experience, for one where the surf park can show them that they have a sustainability certification or that they are implementing sustainability initiatives. Based on the average daily spend at a surf park, this represents just under $40 extra that visitors are willing to spend on a surf park that can show it's being sustainable. For every visit, for every person, $40 extra just by having an authentic sustainability narrative that people can relate to. In closing, surf park technology is now very high quality. There are proven financial models. Surfing is incredibly appealing, aspirational, and addictive. The surfing population has exploded in the past 3 years, and so significant chunks of the market are beginners or early intermediates. Surfers promise to be excellent repeat visitors to these types of attractions, and the market is demanding sustainability be built into the attractions and their operations. Don't forget to come to Surf Park Summit, the #1 event for the surf park and wave pool development industry, September 19th to 20th, 2023 in San Diego, California. Thank you.